Booking appointments is a critical function for any business, no matter how small or how large. And if you're sending leads directly to an automated booking link, well, you've solved half the problem. But I have a better move for you. You see, booking links will get you appointments, but booking funnels are a system. And if you care about things like testing, tracking, long-term flexibility, better branding, then this difference should matter to you. I'm Katherine Ferris, the owner of Marketecs and Marketecs Engine, and I've been building and helping business owners with their sales and marketing automation since 2009. And I can tell you from very recent conversations that the difference between a booking link and a booking funnel is still very misunderstood. That's why today I want to show you the difference and the value between simply using a link versus having a funnel. In this video, I'm going to show you what exactly a booking funnel is, use cases, and when I prefer to use them. I'm also going to show you how to actually build a 3-step booking funnel inside of our preferred platform, and stick around till the end because I am going to share with you the mistakes that you'll want to avoid. Now, if you just want help building your funnel, you don't want to sit through this video, you don't want to do it yourself, no problem. Check the description. There's a link to book a consultation, and I'd be happy to chat and see how we can help you. But if you're curious and you want a better understanding of how these systems work, then stick around because I'm going to build it out either way. Let's start with what most people do. A lot of us have heard of Calendly or Acuity or these automatic booking systems. Most people pick a platform, they build a calendar, connect it to whatever calendar they're using and whatever video conference software. It creates a link and they're off to the races. They use that link directly. And that's what I mean by a calendar link. People can book appointments with you all day long. And if somebody is already a warm lead, then I think this is perfectly fine. This is a case where I would say, go ahead, build that link, share it to your heart's content. However, a couple of key points here. If you're using an independent booking system like Calendly or Acuity, then you also have to take some steps to connect that to your CRM. There's some more technical pieces there. You probably want to make sure that person gets into your marketing system so that you can send them follow-ups and include them in your newsletter on a regular basis. Or you could choose an all-in-one system like HighLevel. And that's actually what we prefer. So right out of the gate, there's my recommendation in terms of how to build a better booking system. First of all, pick an all-in-one system where you can actually turn your booking link into a funnel. It's all in one place. You don't have to worry about getting additional software or connecting additional tools. You see, HighLevel works just like Calendly and Acuity, where you can build your calendar, connect it to all your other pieces, and then share the link if you want to. But that person is now in your CRM because HighLevel is also your CRM. That person can now be sent to your newsletter because HighLevel is also your email marketing platform. And that person can be put on a pipeline because you've also got your opportunities and sales pipelines all within the same system. No need for Zapier, no need for APIs or any other sort of connecting devices. That's phase one, is picking the system and actually creating the calendar link. And I have a whole nother video specifically to creating calendars in HighLevel that will show you exactly what I'm talking about and all the setup. So the specifics today are a little bit less about that piece and a little bit more about what to do with that next, how to take that automated booking setup and take it to the next level. Now, as I promised, we're going to jump into HighLevel and see exactly how to build out a booking funnel. The process is basically to build the calendar, build the funnel, including however many pages you want, add the tracking links, and test. So let's dive in and take a look. First, I want to give you the demo of the difference between a link and a funnel. So this here is a booking link. You can see it has all the information. I can book an appointment just like that. It has a custom form on it. I can schedule a meeting, and then I am going to go to a thank you message. And you can see the URL in this one is a little bit longer, couple extra slashes, couple extra words. It is great to give somebody that I just finished talking to that already knows what they want and just needs to book an appointment. In comparison, here's a landing page with the exact same calendar on it. But what you can also see is branding at the top, my colors, a fun background, a little welcome video. I can put any disclaimers at the bottom that I need to, and it just looks more professional, especially for someone that might be coming from cold traffic or paid ads. You can also see that the URL is much cleaner. And at any time, as I mentioned, I can swap the calendar on this URL. So it's very easy for me to change the details on this page without having to change the link. And then the thank you page for this particular calendar, you can see that here. Again, same branding, all the stuff. It's got the meeting information. It says that we're going to email them. And then in this particular case, I included a checklist about how to prepare for their meeting. And then these videos, a little bit about me, a walkthrough of Marketecs Engine, so that people can come a little more prepared and so that our meeting can be a little bit more effective and take less time for everyone. So this is an example of a funnel versus a simple appointment link. Now let's jump into HighLevel, or better yet, our version called Marketecs Engine, and actually build a booking funnel. So here we are in HighLevel. I'm going to go over to calendars real quick, because I do want to mention you need to build your calendars and your forms first, or at least it's easier if you do that. So under calendars and calendar settings, this is where you're going to add a new calendar. I have an entirely separate video on that, so I'm not going to get in the details today, but I just wanted to point that out. We're going to go back to the main menu. We're going to go to sites, and then here is forms, and that's where you would build any forms that you want to include in your process. I'm interrupting this video to make sure that there is no confusion about HighLevel or about how to work with me. If you want to try HighLevel but don't want to waste months trying to figure it out, I have two very clear options for you to consider. If you're looking to build an agency or a SaaS business, head over to marketecs.com/HighLevel. By using our affiliate link, which costs you nothing, you will get the following bonuses. Our Marketecs Engine Core Snapshot. This is all of the features that we install in every new Marketecs Engine user account, and we're giving it to you for free as an affiliate. Our onboarding guides and access to our private community, an invitation to join our weekly live office hours, where I personally will answer questions and even share tips that I've learned throughout the week. And I'm constantly learning. There is so many new features and things to learn in this industry as a whole, not to mention within the HighLevel platform. Plus, we'll give you our additional templates, checklists, and migration guide. That's option number one. Option two is if you are a business owner just looking to improve your own tech stack and you don't want to do it alone. You would like a trusted strategic partner in your corner that speaks the language, brings you time-tested automations, proven strategies, and up-to-date learning. Then go to marketexengine.com and book a consultation with me to learn more about our high-level agency, Marketecs Engine, and joining our ecosystem. I'm also currently offering discounts on one-on-one consulting to any of our affiliates and HighLevel users. So whether you're building an agency or building a business, pick your path and let's drive results. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Now we're going to stay on this funnels page here. On the funnels page, you can see I have a couple of other funnels I've played with. You can see how many steps are in them, when they were last updated. From here, you can also edit, clone, move, etc. Cloning will come in really handy if you decide to build multiple booking funnels, because you build the first one and then you just clone it and you can swap out the calendar and any words that you need to. Much easier the second and third time around versus the first time. If you have multiple booking funnels, I would create a folder, put them all together in a folder. That will keep all of your organization much nicer. So let's go ahead and create a new funnel. I am going to do from blank, but you could absolutely use AI or use a template. All right, we're just going to call it booking funnel. So we open up in a blank funnel here. And what we have is we have the overall funnel. We're going to have steps. And then within steps, there are pages. So here are steps. You're going to find your stats here. After you launch this, once you start having traffic, you'll see numbers for each individual page as well as conversion rates. And then I want to pay attention to the settings features here. So you have the name. You could change that if you needed to. You are going to want to connect a domain, and I have a test domain here to play with. This path, this is the primary URL for the funnel overall. This URL will go to whatever page is first in your funnel paths. So it's important, I think, to keep this as minimal as possible. You're probably going to want to put in a favicon URL. So this is just going to be an image URL to whatever you want the little tab image to be. And then your tracker code for the heading here is going to be your Facebook pixel, your Google Analytics code. That's all going to go there. You can connect a widget if you want the little chat widget, little chat bubble to be on your page and people to be able to send messages. And then there's several other settings here that you're welcome to take a look at, but we're going to keep this pretty simple. Hit save. And now we're back and ready to start building our steps of our funnel. So I'm going to add a new step, and this is going to be the landing page. Now, this path is going to be to this specific page. Again, the first page in the funnel will also use the funnel link, but you can have individual links, or you will have individual links for each step as well. I like to keep all of these links very readable, very easy, because you may use them all independently. This is where you can find the actual step link. Now I'm saying step versus page because each step could have multiple pages. This is the A/B test option. So you'll have a page here, and if you decide to create a variation of this page, you'll have like the page A and a page B. So each page has its own link as well. For every page in the funnel, you've got the funnel is the top hierarchy link, then you've got a step link, and then you've got a page link. Sounds a little confusing at first, but it all makes sense when you start finding yourself linking to separate steps or doing that A/B testing. Now we're going to create from blank here. I'm going to try to keep this very simple, but I am going to show you a little bit of the drag and drop features within the system. You have the option of building with AI. I am just going to kind of go old school, and I'm going to add a pre-built section, actually. I'm going to grab one that has a button so that I can demonstrate what I would like to show you. I just drag and drop that whole section, and now I can update it. There are also quick adds for different text, adding another form, anything else you might want to throw on there. You can just grab a pricing table, put it right on there, and then as soon as you click on the different features, the right-hand panel will open up for you to make edits. Now, what you can see is you've got a green box, and then you end up with a blue box next. You've got rows, elements, columns, all of that stuff. Everything is customizable in here. And you're going to want to change all the letters and all the images. If I click on this here, you can see the image is going to open my library, and then I can go to my brand board if you have that set up, and I can grab my logo by double clicking on it. And there we go. My logo swapped out. If I click on this section and maybe I want to change the background color, it's easy enough to do. And then if I decide that that was a terrible mistake, there is an undo button. All right, that's a little bit about just navigating the page builder. Now, what I really care about here is this button. And this is where I want to have a form on this page where I'm collecting minimal information on the landing page before they get to the booking page. Or maybe I have that clarifying question on this page to make sure I really want to have them book an appointment. So with the button, when I click on that, my right-hand panel here opens up for editing, and I can simply take out a word on the button right there. I can add in additional text right here. Then I can change my fonts and styles and all of that stuff. But what I really care about most is this button action. Right now it's set to open a pop-up. There are lots of other options. You could send it to a different website URL, which sort of defeats the purpose of having a funnel. You could have a file download, which maybe you'll do something like that on the thank you page after they've booked an appointment. You might want them to download something. You can hide or show particular elements, scroll to a particular element on the page. You could take them to any other step within the funnel, which would be any other page within the funnel. You could take them directly to the next step in the funnel. So if you don't have a form you want them to fill out, you could simply take them to the next step in the funnel right here, and that would be your booking page. Now, in that case, you could also put your booking link, your calendar, your booking calendar right on the pop-up, but then you won't necessarily get the tracking of who went from page 1 to page 2. So doing the next step even here would work. I'm going to stick with the pop-up for right now just to show you how to actually put a form on there in case that's part of what you're hoping for. So when you select pop-up, you now have to go edit the pop-up. And here's the pop-up settings. And we're going to click this button to edit this first pop-up. And you can have multiple pop-ups. So you could have multiple buttons on your page and have multiple pop-ups here. When I click the pop-up settings, now I have my pop-up options. And we're just going to say pop-up 1. Now you have the option to turn this off completely. I typically turn this on, closing. It closes the pop-up when you click on outside of it. So if somebody clicks out here, it's going to close it and bring them back to the main page. Medium width is usually fine. You could make it bigger. If you were putting a calendar on there, you might want it a little bit bigger. This one right here is one that most people miss on the pop-ups is when do you want the pop-up to show? Do you want it to show right before somebody tries to exit the page? Do you want it to be on a delay of some sort, like maybe 20 seconds on this page and it automatically pops up? Or if you pick none, I know that sounds scary, like it's never going to show up, but the truth is the none option means it will only show up if they click the button, which is quite often what we're doing is choosing none. And then there's a couple other options here for different types of settings. Now you can actually build the pop-up just like you would a page. We're going to add, and in the quick add here, we are going to grab a form. And I'm just going to click on that, and it's going to show up here. Then I can click on this and choose one of my forms. Let's see. That one looks like that'll work. All right, so now I've put a form on my pop-up. From here, I can actually edit this form directly in here. If I'm like, oh, shoot, I forgot, this doesn't have a title on it. Now I could add a title right to the pop-up here and then just reorder my options here and put in title. Or I could go and edit my form and do something like that. Or if I realized I'm missing a field, I can go click and edit my form. Now we have the action for the form. And again, if we're putting this in a funnel and we want people to go to the next step in the funnel, use action from form builder is probably not ideal. And we probably don't want to send them to another URL either. The next step is the option here. This means that this form, you could actually use it on its own or use it on a web page somewhere else and have it have a completely different after action in a funnel. You can have it go to the next step in the funnel, but when you use it somewhere else, it goes to a certain URL or it has a message, a thank you message. Now I'm going to save my changes and publish my page. And as I do that, the SEO and AI search options come up. If you want the page to be searchable, if you want the preview to show up in a certain way, if you share it on social, you will want to fill this information in. Okay, now we have our landing page, at least our demo landing page, ready enough. We're going to go back out and focus on step 2 in our funnel, which is the actual booking page. Now we're going to add another step. This is the booking page. And we're going to create. All right, and now you can see that this page also has its own URL. So the funnel URL will go to step 1, but so will the step URL. And the step URL here, I could send somebody directly to the prettier booking page if I wanted with this link here. That's kind of important to remember. You could bypass the landing page still if you wanted to using this link, and at least it's prettier than the actual calendar booking link. Okay, we're going to create from blank, and I am going to create a really quick example of exactly what I have for myself, which is a video and then the calendar. I am going to add a video, drag and drop, and then I am going to add a calendar, drag and drop. Now, just like my form, I pick the calendar that I want. We'll go with an onboarding call. That sounds good. Now, also like my form, you can see over here on the actions, I have the option of where do I want it to go? Do I want it to do what the calendar builder is set to do? Maybe it's a message, maybe it's a redirection to a different page. In this case, again, no, I want it to go to the next step in the funnel. I want it to go to this particular thank you page in the funnel. And from here, you can do all kinds of editing. Sometimes, especially with a calendar, I might slim it down a little. You have the option of doing a hosted video or a YouTube Vimeo. If you do want to do anything about tracking video view percentages, then you will want to use the hosted video option. You will select your video from your media files. So you just upload the video to your media files, select it here, and then you can change the thumbnail. And there's lots of other options here for your video player as well. That is our quick and simple booking page. Again, we can add a logo up at the top. If I want to add an image, and then from my images, I would go to my brand boards and get my logo. And then, of course, I would make it much smaller. So that's an example of the really quick booking page. Again, I'll save my changes and publish. And then finally, in our 3-step process, we need to build the confirmation or thank you page. So we're going to add another new step. So we've got a confirmation page and it's going to be confirm booking, and we will create step. You can see confirm booking, and we'll just double check and make sure this link looks okay too, so that none of our links look strange if they get shared. And now we will also create from blank. Now, in this case, I'm actually thinking it makes sense to maybe give the AI a try. All right, so you can see here I put in a very basic prompt, build a thank you page for after someone books an initial consultation. I will hit send, and then we will see AI generate our page. I gave it very little instructions, no branding, no specific about what to put on the page, so it is really guessing here. And you can see how it builds the to-dos and then actually shows me how it is building out this page. So we will give this a minute. All right, there we have it. This is what AI did for us. And you can see that it thought for a couple of seconds and then it built all of this out. We could easily ask it to adjust anything on here. I am curious, this add to calendar button that it popped in here, the action is to go to a website. So the add to calendar button we may want to remove unless you have a feature or an outside service for the add to calendar. There is going to be an add to calendar in the email that people receive if you have your confirmation emails turned on within your calendar settings. So this might be an option where I would say, let's maybe just delete that. And you can see the sections that it put in. Obviously, it's AI. You want to review everything, but I think that is actually pretty decent looking. So that is our confirmation page, and we will keep that as is. Now, if you wanted to, I like that it has FAQs actually. Similar to the videos I would put in just in FAQ form. I would probably, just because the top there is looking a little boring, I might actually add my about video right in here. That way they get a little video, then they get what to expect and the FAQs. That's actually not a bad looking page at all. Good job, AI. All right, we will save our changes and we will publish. And now we go back out. So that's it. That's the 3-step process: landing page, booking page, consultation, thank you. Now for each one of these at any point, maybe the consultation thank you, you actually want an upsell. If you have products in HighLevel, which you can sell products in HighLevel, there is a whole payments section and payments tab. This is where you would connect a product to this page and then put in an order form on the page and customize that, similar to your forms and calendars. You can continue to iterate on this whole booking funnel process. You can continue to add steps and make it better as you progress and as your process builds. Okay, now that you've seen how it's built, I promised I would share the mistakes to avoid. Mistake number 1, as I've talked about before, to me, would be sending cold traffic to a simple booking link. It doesn't have the warm and fuzzies. I believe this would be a mistake. Mistake number 2 would be relying on the thank you message instead of building a thank you page. I highly recommend a customized thank you page where you can warm up that lead and reduce your no-shows. Also reduce confusion for when people show up about what they might be thinking the outcome is going to be or what you actually do, if there still is any. Mistake number 3 in building a funnel is having mismatched information from page to page. And this is something to really watch. You want to make sure you're not changing anything about your branding from page to page. That should be fairly obvious. You also want to make sure your promises, your language, I've seen people even forget what they called their appointment or call it something slightly different. This can weird people out, make people have to think a little too hard about booking that appointment, and this would be a mistake. So keep everything you can consistent. And all the little details matter. All of the colors, the branding, the appointment names, all of these things matter. If one page says it's a 60-minute call and the next page says 30 minutes, people are going to be confused. So watch the details. Mistake number 4 is missing tracking. And this is a back-end operations piece sometimes when you're just throwing something together, or if you're trying to DIY it, you may not have all the skills to put this in place. But I do feel like this is important. If you're running ads or if you just want to be able to track who's been to the page, Google Analytics codes and Facebook metapixels are probably like the baseline here. Those are the things you want to make sure are installed on the back end of your funnel so that you can actually make sure you're tracking. And mistake number 5 for me would be not having a qualification process for a high ticket offer. This is where I believe the gatekeeper comes in. Or if you're just overbooked, then there would be no reason not to put this in place. If you feel like you're getting a lot of tire kickers or people are showing up that just aren't really qualified, then I would make sure you put this in place, that you on that page 1 or maybe add in a new step 2, that you have some sort of qualification process, some sort of delineator, a question that they have to answer that helps you identify what their next step should be. Should it be the appointment or should it be something else? All right, you've heard my spiel, you've seen me build it. Now I hope you're on board and you understand exactly what I'm trying to say with this process. A booking link is a tool, a booking funnel is an asset. And I get it. If you just need to get the link out quickly, then do it, use it. But if you care about conversion rates, testing, quality, long-term success, flexibility, then build a funnel. If you don't already have a system that will work for you to get this done, make sure you click the links below. Check out Marketecs Engine and HighLevel. And if you want templates, workflows, or help figuring this out, then make sure you book a consultation. And before you leave, of course, please subscribe, like, comment, and share.